What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to finally review the villains from the Final Faction toy line from the Dollar Tree. And most of these, as of today or at the time of this recording, most of these figures are pretty much gone from the Dollar Tree. There's like only one that I know that has some in stock, but not a lot, with the accessory packs and the figures themselves, but I think they're from the later waves, not from the first waves. So, good luck if you want to still try to find these here in 2025, but they haven't had anything out in like 2 years, I believe, maybe a little longer. So, but I've had these for a while. I pretty much have the whole set, and I've had them for a while, and they've just been stored, and now it's time for me to review them. So, yeah, we're on the villain side of things. So, like I mentioned, I did get these at the Dollar Tree, and I do have some loose ones that I messed around with when I first bought these some time ago, and I do have the accessories from the accessory packs. Now, for some reason, I never sold, or not sold, but never saved the card backs for these. So I don't know any of the names of these accessories and who they go for, but I'm sure we could probably figure it out once we open these. But I will be saving these card backs. For some reason, I have all the card backs for everything else that I've opened so far, but not these. So, oh well, it is what it is. Whatever. But I do like the show, though. It only has so far 3 episodes, and I don't know if they're going to continue to make any more, because it's been so long. And they even had a comic book. I do have 2 copies of that. But I really enjoyed it for what it is. And I do have the playlist saved, and I will link the playlist to my Final Faction reviews and the playlist for the 3 episodes of this series. Take the time to watch it. I enjoyed it, and I really felt like they could at least a couple more episodes, because they did leave the 3rd episode in a cliffhanger. So, kind of hoping that they will continue, but I doubt it. I don't have any hopes for it, but I kind of am hoping that they will. But we'll see. If not, it is what it is. They probably could have done like at least 10 episodes. Maybe 5. 5 probably would have been a good amount for the little 10-minute segments that they have, 10-minute episodes that they have. I think 5 would have been fine. But I would have liked to see a full series, like maybe at least 10 episodes. But that's just my wishful thinking on my part. But anyways, so aside from that, let's go ahead and move this stuff aside, and let's go ahead and get started on this review. And these figures are made for the 3.3 style of figures. They go in scale with that style. 5 POA, maybe a little bit more, depending on the figure. So, but they're good figures for what they are. They're cheap. They were $1 at the time, $1.25 probably for the later waves. But yeah, they're worth it. I love them. I'm glad I hopped on them when I did, because there were some of them that were kind of hard to find. Probably like Wave 2 was a little bit more harder to find, especially the accessory packs. But yeah, it was a hunt. I'm not gonna lie, especially for the Final Factions side of things. Wave 2, because they split it in A and B. So A was pretty easy to find for the most part, but B was a lot harder, So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. And so these are the minions for the leader Diabol, or Diabol, however you want to pronounce him. Which we'll get to him and his wave in another video. But we'll go ahead and this is Wave 1. This is part of Wave 1. So for the villain side, we got the Hive Class Brute. And then we got the High Class Synthoid and the Hive Class Drone for the Kharn. I think that's what they call it, the Kharn. And these are great army builders. That's why I have 2 of them. If I could get more, I would, because I would love to have a whole army of these guys, you know, just to surround Diabol and Riptile, and we'll get to him later too in another video. So pretty much here, this is your basic card back, you know, ages 3 and up. That's me. Here's the final faction on the top left hand corner, the Kharn with the purple highlight here on the side of the packaging of the card back, and it says additional weapons pack sold separately, which is the little baggie that I showed you. And this is the artwork here of the brute, then the warning, choking hazard, blah blah. Then the final faction cartoon details on back. And so this is your basic Kharn packaging card back. And then here you have the final faction, and on the top left hand corner, ages 3 and up. Again, that's me. And so it tells you can cut these, and I do like the fact that you could save these cards, you know, for for your collection. And then here it just talks about the brute as part of the Kharn army. And then if you want to pause and read that, you may, and it just gives you all the strength and ability and all that stuff, the power ratings. And then here's the cross sell of Series 1. So we did review all of these. And so now we're just finally getting to these all this time later. Collect them all. And then if you want to pause and go over all that, this is all the information and stuff. And you can scan that to watch the cartoon. And this came out in 2021. So yeah, that was some time ago. So that is the brute. And here we have the Synthoid. So like I said, this is your basic Kharn packaging. The only difference is the artwork for the Synthoid. And then if you want to pause and read that and learn about the Synthoid. And then here it just says that it's got interchangeable arms with the weapons pack, which we'll get to. So if you want to pause and take a look at that, you may. And then for the drone, your basic Kharn packaging card back. The only difference is the artwork, as this is the drone. So, and if you want to pause and read that, I'm pretty sure it just says the same thing as the others. So the only difference is, you know, the power ratings and stuff. So check all that out. So there you go. Alright, so let's take some time to open these up, and I'll gather the other ones and we'll display them and we'll go over them. Alright, so we got them finally out their packaging, and we got the other accessories in front of them. So we'll go over each one and see what they have to offer. So this is the one that we opened, and let's say it's I do like the detail. The only thing that lacks is the paint, even though the sculpting is wonderful. I mean, the detailing is incredible. I love the molding of this. You know, it's just basically purple plastic, and you know, it's got a little bit of airbrushing, a little bit around the chest area. So, and that's about it. And you get the little red pupils. So I do like the horns that comes out at the side, and they're real goofy. In the first episode, they're real goofy. They're clumsy and goofy, and you know, they just they're not as intimidating as you would think they would be. But yeah, the detail's incredible. Look at that. The legs, the back of the legs, the back, everything. So you got these holes so you can actually attach certain accessories to them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, just mainly lots of good details, but very little paint, if any. Like just a very slight airbrushing, just a tad bit. Just along in the front and a little bit on the arms. You know, just very slight. And then here is his accessory that he comes with. So it's very cool, very heavy too. So very alien-like technology. So I do like the details and everything. So I do like the fact that all their accessories are very detailed. You know, I don't have any paint, but the detailing shows. Look at that. Even the handle has a lot of details. So that's incredible. It's good. Not bad for $1. And so then here is the Synthoid that we opened, and again, incredible detail, lack of paint. You can tell I got a little bit of silver, kind of airbrushing going on right there on the sides, a little bit. Got the little purple blast right there that comes out, or fan or whatever, that kind of moves around. And then the eyes right there. There's 8 eyes in total, 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. And so these arms can pull out, and you can add different arms to it. That's the gimmick that this thing has. It looks like it's got a little seams coming apart. So, but yeah, very cool. So, what they lack in certain areas, they make up in detail. So that's a plus. And I'm pretty sure there were a lot of customizers out there that would repaint all this stuff and give this highly detailed and bring out the details with their skills, you know. So it's the Synthoid, and this is the drone. And yeah, these guys are just regular sized. They're in scale. These pretty much are 3 3/4. Those are probably like about 4 inches, give or take. So this guy, just like all the rest, have lots of details too. So especially in the face, red eyes, lots of airbrushing along the chest and the sides, legs. So a little bit on the hands right there, mainly in the head. So very nice. So here is his little accessory, his little pea shooter. So details right there. So the company that made these figures did a real good job. Just brought out a lot of details. So I guess they knew that they had to, one or the other, either put paint or details. So I'm happy with what they gave us, you know. And so as far as way of articulation for this guy, for the drone, you know, the head is on a peg or a ball or whatever. So just side to side, there's no up and down movement, and then just rotation in the arm, and then the legs go forwards and backwards, and that's it. You know, simple 5 POA. And then as far as this guy goes, you know, his legs just move back and forth, nothing else. You can just interchange his arms, you know. And then for the brute, same thing, side to side, rotation all the way around the arms, and then front and back and the legs. So very simple, not too shabby. So here's his main weapon that he has. So we'll just put that there in his hands, right there. So it's a pretty good grip. You know, it's not bad at all. So push that in so it can get that full grip. far as his accessory goes. Put it on the other hand. So he's got that full grip right there. So maybe got a little gabbage right there, but aside from that, you could tell that he's got that full grip on his little gun. And then as far as all these other accessories goes, you got a slew of stuff, like for the back. Like you get this weird looking alien thing, like a symbiote type thing coming out of its back, highly detailed. Got the face, got the mouth and teeth. Then you got some cannon looking thing coming out. And you can put these on anything, you know, any of the villains, like these little sidekicks. And these here are some interchangeable arms, you know. So if you wanted to, you could have this guy change his arm out, and you can both have both arms, you know. It works either way. And then you could put this thing, take this guy, and you can take this arm out, and he could have this little weird thing that this is, you know, got this little spike right there, and whatever else he's got growing right there on his arm. So, yeah, lots of options. And I believe these can go on his back. These little cannon looking things, like that. So, if you come across this guy, it's a double whammy. So, hopefully you can sometimes this can be a little tough to put in. Yeah, that's about as far as it's going to go. I'm sure I can get it further, or it might fit better in the other one. But yeah, so you could have him like that. So very cool. And then this guy could have this little backpack looking thing. You can have that for that. Looks a little weird, but hey, it works. You know, so you could have that. And you can put this thing on him if you wanted him to be a little bit more menacing. That could work either way. Or if you wanted to, you can have it on this guy, you know. Or however you want it. So yeah, so you got lots of options. You can lots of options and playability with these accessory packs, which is very cool. Kind of like it on him. So it's a little bit more. A little more menacing. And then you got these weird blasters, you know, that oversized accessories. And then you got these, you know, you have him have these. Like I said, these things are incredibly detailed. So whether, like I said multiple times, where they lack in paint, they make up for detail. So pretty much took the time to go all out with this thing. So yeah, these are the accessories that you get from the accessory packs back then. So great options, you know. Love it. All right, so let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. So for the size comparisons, we have a vintage Leonard corpse figure. You know, the bootleg G.I. Joes back in the day. Not so much now, because the style has changed and got a lot cheaper compared to what it was back in the 80s and early 90s when Leonard Toys did their version of G.I. Joes with the corpse line. So I love these figures. Those things, I have a few of these in my collection, and I like them for what they are. You know, they're very cool, and they're very affordable. A lot cheaper than G.I. Joes. You know, now not so much. They're more like action figures. Pretty much repaints of everything they did. You know, and so anyways, and also we got a Ruckus from the Alpha Team 1. So like I said, these figures are 3 3/4 scale, so they fit. The figures fit the 3 3/4 scale. And next up, we have a Synthoid. So that's the scale size you have for that, along with the other two. And lastly, you got the drone, which is a little bit smaller, probably like maybe 3 inches, maybe 3.5, something like that, give or take. So it works. You know, I like it for what it is. I like the size difference and the scaling of the villains. So it works out just fine. And that was a look at the Final Factions Kharn, Brute, Synthoid, and Drone, along with the accessories from the accessory packs that also was sold in this particular line for the Kharn army. So let me know in the comments below what you think, and don't forget, where's the wisdom? Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.